Trev TV. I know it's been a while, hasn't it? I'm the Trev. It's too sweet. I had to put a sweater on. My goosebumps weren't going away, and I was getting the chills. But it's kind of weird. My first video on here in a long time, and it's a wrestling video. The wrestling channel, by proxy, doesn't really exist anymore, so hence why it's here. It's Friday. You know what that means. More importantly, it's August 20th. And I'm going over my reaction to the official return of CM Punk. Let's talk about it. Yeah, this has been one of the worst kept secrets in a long time. And yeah, I did make a video on this once upon a time. If you don't remember, it's right here. And I'm not gonna lie, my approach from that video to this video hasn't really changed, and it took me a while, despite all the clues and everything saying it was happening, to actually believe it was happening. It took me tuning in. And I've said this before, I don't watch wrestling as much as I used to. I still follow, but I'm slowly losing my passion. But it's one of those things you didn't really expect to happen until it happened. And when it happened, like I said, the goosebumps. Everybody talks about the goosebumps. I felt the goosebumps for a while. And every time I watched the replay, I still felt the goosebumps. Like I said, I was starting to get the chills. I had to put my hoodie on. It's one of those things, 7.5 years. Over 7.5 years since he stepped foot in a wrestling ring, officially. Not counting the unofficial returns, but the biggest thing for me would have been hearing Cult of Personality. And you could tell it was playing, but you couldn't really hear it because that had to have been the loudest pop I ever heard. Ever. And I've heard some loud pops. The other one was loud. And it goes without saying, that's a moment. You know, if you remember where you were when Jericho debuted in WWF, because it was WWF at the time. If you remember where you were when Triple H came back at Madison Square Garden, or when Hogan and Rock met up at WrestleMania, or Jericho Omega, if you want to get recent. There's been some loud pops, but this one was loud. I've been saying to anybody I've been talking to about the subject that roof off the United Center was going to get blown. And then you can worry about the foundations. And apparently, the ground was shaking. It was that loud. Like I said, it was a moment. And what else? Let me compose myself a bit. I don't know. For me, the fact that it was in AEW and not WWE, you kind of had to think that was the only way it was ever going to go. But it was a moment you just had to see to believe, because for years you'd already been conditioned and told that something like this was never happening. It happened, and it's going to be a regular thing. For a couple of years anyway. And I mean, to say that he's still over at this point, not only in his life, but the fact that he's been away as long as he have, and he's still over as well as he is, well, that says a lot. So, was it a return we needed? Maybe. I know it was a return that'll definitely help out AEW, but more specifically, it'll help out Darby Allin. And this is my early bold prediction for All Out. Allen's not gonna take the pin, or Allen's gonna get pinned. Sorry, but he's gonna look like $1 million freaking bucks doing it. Guaranteed, guaranteed. This sets up Allen for the future. But it's never a bad thing for moments like this to be talked about, especially when they're wrestling moments. it's still so surreal. Like, yeah, it was the worst kept secret for about a month and a half. But as I said, you had to see it to believe it. Because you're just skeptical, right? You just automatically don't think something like that's going to happen. And when it does, and it catches even you off guard. Like, I'm not saying I'm the hugest CM Punk fan, but I would definitely put him in the top five. It's kind of hard to replace one and two. But all the same, a great moment. So let's take it for what it's worth. So I just have to ask real quick, were ice cream bars part of the negotiations? Because he did make a mention to ice cream bars. So if anybody that was there managed to get an ice cream bar, let me know. I'm just curious. So that was my brief reaction to CM Punk debuting in AEW. And this is another one on Trev's TV. Well, thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you're here. This whole I talk, you listen thing, it works out great for everybody. Let's keep a good thing rolling, right? If you want to, since you're here, since you've made this far, hit that like button. If you want to, hit that subscribe button too. Let's keep up with my hockey show. My hockey show's at 76. Right now, I see we're at 55. So let's move that needle while we're at it. My socials are in the description down below. Moving forward, believe it or not, I'm on a video making spree right now. So I actually might have one or two more in the pipe here for you. But either way, in the meantime, and between time, be looking for more videos from the Trev. Later.